everyone. Welcome to your stretching and breathing class with me, Amanda Helen. I'm so excited to have you here. Have something cozy on that you can move well in, that you feel comfortable in. So if you're not watching this live, you can go ahead and pause the video, get set up. You don't have to have a yoga mat. I have just this big cozy blanket laid out in my living room. Set your mood, set your lighting. If you want, you can play music. Like you can pull up a Spotify playlist or Apple playlist and hit play in the background. That can be really soothing. So I'm so excited to have you here. We are going to do a combination of stretching, the typical stretching that you think of where you're elongating your muscles, as well as yin yoga. If you don't know, I am a huge fan of yin yoga as a way to work with the nervous system and to embody feminine energy. So I hope that this class really helps you to understand the difference between stretching and then the yin yoga practice, which accesses two different systems in the body, the muscles and the connective tissue. But of course, it accesses the whole thing because everything's connected. Anyways, we'll be breathing and activating our parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest. So I hope that you enjoy. Thank you so much for practicing with me. We'll start right away with doing some breath to movement. You'll take your right hand, I'll mirror you, place it on the ground, lift your left arm up and over your head, reaching across through the body. I'm gonna make sure my mic doesn't make any weird sounds. So breathing into your rib cage, along your waistline. Keep grounding through your left sits bone, keeping it connected to the ground. Now flip your palm to face up and stretch your fingers in a wide arc down towards the earth in a diagonal. You might feel a stretch along the neck and the top of the shoulder. Flip the palm to face back up and draw that wide arc back up across over the head. Take a breath in here. Exhale, flip the palm. On your exhale, draw that wide arc all the way down to the diagonal. And inhale one more time, up into that side bend. Exhale, coming back. And pause in a neutral position. Notice the difference between the right and the left side, if there is any. There might be more awakeness, aliveness, more space in that left side. You'll take your left hand and place it on the ground, reaching the right arm up and over the head, stretching out the whole side of the body, the rib cage, the waist, grounding down through the sits bone. Taking some deep breaths. Flip the palm to face up. Reach through the fingers, drawing that wide arc all the way down. Notice if you have kind of lazy fingers, really reach through the fingers. That's going to change the sensation. Hold here for a moment. Sense into sensation in the neck, the top of the shoulder. Flip the palm to face up, drawing the fingers up and over the head. And now take a breath in. Exhale, flip the palm. Wide arc down. The very end of the exhale, draw in an inhale by flipping the palm to face up again. And then reaching the arm up and over the head. Rising back up to neutral. Taking a moment of pause. Feel the way your breath moves through your lungs. We'll continue our stretching series by coming onto the back. And from the back, you just start by hugging the knees into the chest. Rocking side to side. Now, place the left foot on the ground, bend the right ankle on top of the left knee. This is enough for your hips. You could stay right here. If you'd like, you might pull that left knee in towards the chest and wrap your fingers around the bottom, the back of that left leg. You might give a slight pressure of that right elbow to that right knee. Now we could hold this posture for several minutes, and it could be a yin posture. But in the beginning of this practice, we're focused on stretching, taking deep breaths into the belly. Place the left foot down on the ground if it's not already, and let your knees fall to the left. You can extend your arms out at a T, all the way until that right foot makes contact with the ground. You might feel this in the outside of the right hip in the glute. Take a breath in and a breath out. One more breath in. And breath out. So important to breathe as we're stretching. Coming back through center and let the knees fall in the opposite direction. The right ankle will be applying a bit of pressure along the top of the left leg. This might help you find an opening in the front of the left hip. And if anything in this practice doesn't feel good in your body, if it causes pain, if it doesn't resonate, feel free to make your own choices always. We're all built differently, and you are the best guide of your own practice and your own body. These are simply suggestions. Come back up through center. Release the right leg to the ground and pause. Notice if you can sense anything different. Cross the left ankle on top of the left knee. You might stay here. You could apply gentle pressure on top of that left knee. You might pull your right knee towards your chest and release all 10 fingers behind your right leg. Notice if you're holding any tension in your jaw. Take a breath in and a breath out. One more inhale. One more exhale. Place the right foot down and let the knees fall to the right. Left foot making contact with the ground. Arms extend out to the side. As you breathe, see if you can send your breath into your belly and breathe wide. A full 360-degree breath. Doesn't have to be like super full or dramatic. It can be gentle, but into a softening belly. Come back through center. Knees fall over to the left. That left ankle giving a little bit of pressure on top of the right knee, allowing a stretch in the muscles of the front of the right hip and the right quad. Breath in and breath out. One more inhale. And exhale. Come back up through center. Place your left foot down. Pause. Go ahead and reach the arms over the head, the toes out long. Take a deep breath in, really reaching into the length of your body. And as you exhale, roll over onto your stomach. And we'll set up for what's called Sphinx pose. Rest your elbows down on the ground. They're stacked on top of your, underneath your shoulders. Palms gently are facing the ground. Feet are about hips width distance. And start with gazing forward, allowing some length in your throat. This is a really beautiful stretch to counteract any lower back pain. It puts the spine in its optimal position. And again, we could hold this posture for several minutes and it would become a yin posture. But for right now, we are stretching and breathing and being. Starting to bring our attention from the head, from the mental sphere, and into the body, which can calm and soothe the nervous system out of a state of hyper alertness. You might practice a widening of focus. So instead of narrowly focusing on one thing in this position, you widen your focus to see the full perspective of the full picture in front of you. It's a very soft gaze. And that might relax your face. Ensure that your jaw is soft. Go ahead, release your forehead to the ground for just a moment, and then press yourself back through tabletop, through hands and knees, and into child's pose for a moment. Hips to heels, forehead to the ground. So child's pose is a really nice place to soothe the nervous system if you feel activated, if you need grounding. You can keep your arms stretched out. I'm going to rest my forehead on my forearms so that it's easier for me to talk, to give instruction. A technique you can use here is to place a blanket over you, even a weighted blanket. And really let your forehead make contact with the earth. That space in between the eyebrows widens. The jaw unhinges. And you might feel your breath float to your adrenal glands. They're located in the upper region of the lower back. You don't have to have the exact anatomical map in your mind, but just sense that your breath is flowing to your lower back and soothing your adrenal glands, the glands responsible for sending out hormones of alertness, of stress, of activation. And you're sending your breath, your gratitude, and a soothing focus. You can also feel your breath in your lungs widening from side to side as your lungs meet your legs. If you need to ground after a busy day, you want to refresh for your evening, holding this posture for several deep breaths can truly do wonders. Rising up to your hands and knees. Let's take a couple of rounds of arching and rounding the spine. So drop your navel, lift your gaze, open your throat. And as you do this, really feel your spine from the top of your spine all the way through your tailbone. To reverse, press your hands into the ground, round your spine, tuck your tailbone, pull your chin to your chest. Again, feel that spine. Breathe into your back, that space between your shoulder blades. Now, on your own breath, you'll inhale into the arch and exhale into the round. Seal your lips and let your breath flow in and out of your nose if that's available to you. You might even close your eyes and move into sensation, letting your energy, your mental sphere drop down into the experience of the body, soothing and awakening the nervous system by way of the spine, the central nervous system. And when we sync the breath to the movement, it's very nourishing and calming. And whenever you take your last one, go ahead and finish. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips high, and find downward dog for just a moment. We're just using it as a tool to get into a forward fold. You'll bend your knees quite a bit and walk your hands back towards your feet. From here, we'll set up forward fold. So have your knees bent quite a bit. You can bring a pillow or something to place your hands on, or anything really in your house. You could also grab your elbows and just let your body hang, whatever feels best to you. A lot of people will keep their neck up. I invite you to really let your head be heavy and let your neck fold and relax forward. You might shake your head one way, shake your head the other way. You might sway from side to side your whole torso, but eventually find a place just to hold and breathe. This is another shape that could be a yin posture if we held it for several minutes. It is safe to do this if you don't have any, extreme lower back issues. Again, you know your body. But for the purpose of this practice, we're going to hold this for a few breaths and mark it as a tool, another one to calm the nervous system if you're activated. You're reversing blood flow, sending the blood to the brain, decompressing the spine. Let's take 3 breaths. Inhale fully into the lungs, into the belly. Exhale, yield a bit more into the stretch, feeling the backs of the legs, the lower back. Again, breath in and breath out. Finally, one more breath in and breath out. Release the hands down to the ground. Lower the knees and come to have a seat, cross-legged. And just pause for a moment, letting any excess blood flow release from the head. Reorienting to an upright position. Okay. Send your right leg out. Again, I'm mirroring you at a 45 degree. The left foot is bent into the inner thigh. We'll do 3 different versions of this. The first is going to be that breath to movement. Turn your body to face your leg. Inhale, arms reaches up. Exhale, fold over your leg. We'll flow that, meaning breath to movement. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. One more inhale, rise. Fill the lungs. Exhale, fold. Now grab for some place on your leg, could be your foot, your leg, and we're going to pull. So actively grab and pull. You might engage your quad, flex your left foot back towards your face, and really engage your muscles. Breath in. Exhale, pull. One more inhale. And exhale. Now, rise back up for a moment. We'll move into our first yin posture. Start to walk your hands forward until you find a natural pause. Disengage all of your muscles. So release any holding of the quadricep, any flexing of the foot. And when you find a natural stopping point, pause. Hold it. Let your head be heavy. And this is where we'll be for several minutes. Now, if you want a pillow, you can place a pillow under your hips. That might help give you an extra incline. You could also place a rolled up blanket under the left knee. So these things make it a little bit more restorative and make it a bit easier to hold. Although yin is different than restorative yoga, props can be useful. And now there's nothing to do but just to be and observe the body, to cozy into whatever experience you're having. And notice if you're clenching anything. The hands, the face, the hips. The more muscles that you can release, the better able your connective tissue can be accessed, which is the system in the body that holds our posture, our form, the tissue of our joints. It's a very different sensation than that pulling, that we're stretching the muscles. And you might close the eyes if they're not already. And if the mind starts to become frenetic, you can notice what's happening in your body. You can feel where sensation is arising. So maybe it's in your lower back, maybe it's your calf or your hamstring, maybe it's behind your knee. But you sit your consciousness there. If you end up floating in a daydream-like state, you can just let your mind float. Yin is about being with whatever arises. You might notice sensation shifting or that you can find a new layer of depth. Notice how things are happening without you doing anything. That's part of this practice. It's the practice of being, of letting life flow through you, of letting gravity flow through you, and witnessing it all. Slowly start to walk your hands back into an upright position. Pause. And you might bend that left leg into and cross-legged. Find a little movement that can be helpful after holding postures for a long period of time to flow into any change, to integrate the change. And we'll settle into the other side as you're ready. Left leg out, right foot to the left inner thigh. Take our flow. Inhale, the arms come up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Really make sure you're breathing. Practice this breath. So often we hold the breath, full inhale, really inhale to your lung capacity. And exhale, empty. And stay here. Flex the foot back, engage the quad. Grab your foot or your leg and actively pull. We're stretching the muscles here. Breath in, lift through the chest. Exhale, use the arms to pull, engaging that leg. Definitely breathe. Even if we're stretching the muscles and not breathing, there's not a lot of stretching happening. So inhale into the leg. Exhale, pull. One more breath in. One more breath out. Walk the hands back for just a moment. Release any tension in the leg. And then walk the hands forward, setting up for the yin style of this shape on this side. Find your natural pause, not where you want to pull yourself to, but where your body wants to stop. You're not engaging anything. Remember, you can boost your hips up on a pillow, or you can place a rolled up blanket or pillow underneath your right knee. You settle into the structure. And then you watch what happens. You might have the imagery of this force of gravity flowing through the body. Gravity is always having an influence on us to receive it, yield to it. And then do nothing. A chance to let yourself just be in whatever shape you're in. Notice if you're judging yourself, wishing you were further, more flexible. Just truly radically let yourself be just where you're at right now. Being so curious about that edge, the sensations that are here, the way your breath moves through the shape. You can notice any emotions that come up, maybe boredom, maybe there's a hyper alertness or hyper awareness. Maybe it feels really good and you're sinking into this luxury of time, this container of release. You find yourself wanting to get out of the shape. Remember that you have always have the option to do so, but you also have the option to stay and notice what happens. Notice how to relate to intensity in different ways, with consciousness, with breath, with presence. And slowly walk the hands back. Come to that upright position. Check in. And cross the legs for a moment to come to a neutral space. And as you're ready, you can take any movement you need, but we'll come onto the back. So you can see that if we did a class with just yin postures, it can only kind of do a few postures in a short period of time. That's why my longer yin classes and my Melt with Me series that I've linked below can be really powerful to do that for 60 minutes. You can imagine the depth. Pull your knees into your chest, right side. We'll take a spinal twist to close practice. Keep the right knee bent in, extend the left leg long. Pull the knee across the body. We'll just be using this as a stretch, but this could also be a yin posture. Arms extend out to the side in a T, or maybe you keep that left hand on the left knee. You can gaze up or over to the side. And coming back through center, hug the knees in, extend the right leg long, and pull the knee across the body. So the connective tissue needs both muscle deactivation, which is what we're doing here, and time. It needs several minutes. It releases in kind of a different way, a different time perception. Come back through center. Hug the knees in one more time. Final rest pose. So this could be on your back. It could be on your belly. It could be on your side. You could cover up with a blanket, eye pillows. We'll be in stillness for a couple of minutes here so that the body can recalibrate. It could also feel nice to lift the legs up on something. So like I'm next to a couch, so I could lift my legs up onto the couch. That can be really helpful in activating the parasympathetic response in the body. Notice how the system is right now. If there's any differences that you feel. And trust the body's intelligence that it knows what it's doing, that it just needs that space. It needs stillness. It's your recovery time. We'll be here for silence for a minute or so, and then I'll give you the option to be guided out. And slowly find a deepening of your breath. If you'd like to stay here, you're welcome to do this after the video is done. Just soaking in that rest and digest. Wiggle the fingers and the toes and the wrists and the ankles. You might find that same long body stretch, reaching your arms up above you, your toes out long, your feet. And then roll into a little ball on the side of your body. Tuck the knees into the chest. Rest on the bicep of your lower arm. This is also a really safe position for the body, like a familiar fetal pose. This is how we were in the womb. You're ready? Press yourself up to have a seat. And we'll just close the stretching and breathing class with a conscious breath together. Exhaling the air from the lungs. Take an inhale into your beautiful, intelligent body. And a breath out. Thank you so much for practicing with me. If you found value from this practice, let me know in the comments. Give it a quick like. And let me know if you have any questions, how that was for you. I hope it was helpful in understanding the differences between yin yoga and stretching. And I hope that your nervous system feels soothed. So I'll see you in the next one.